Bitcoin is building strength in a way that's leading many to suspect we're on the brink of a 2017-style bull run for the king crypto himself. This is being backed up by on-chain metrics, trading metrics, and experts across the field are starting to chime in, saying that this is going to result in an extremely bearish situation for the altcoins, especially those more frothy and more hyped alts from the most recent short mini bull altcoin cycle. And so we're going to be diving into these statements and comparing this moment to the exact moment that everyone's referencing in the past, which was the crossover from 2016 to 2017 and the beginning of the historic bull run that catapulted Bitcoin to $20,000 highs. We're going to be comparing Bitcoin's price action to the altcoins and trying to get down to the truth of the matter. I'm going to give you a hint. The results of this video are going to surprise you, and you're definitely going to want to watch it. So if you guys are excited, smash that like button, and remember that each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S, but that giveaway is for subscribers only, so I encourage you to subscribe and put that bell on. An article from today on Cointelegraph is explaining that Bitcoin's trading dominance has just hit a high that it has not read or clocked since 2017 when it was $20,000. That's right, the Bitcoin trading dominance has hit a 3-year high, and this is the first time since the last bull run. So according to Cointelegraph, the cryptocurrency markets have suddenly shifted to Bitcoin. You've heard this saying before, but according to the experts, it's Bitcoin season. Even though the market caps sit at below 60% dominance, the reality is that the trading dominance, meaning how much Bitcoin is being traded versus other coins, has skyrocketed to a level that we haven't seen in years, causing many to believe that this is a bull indicator that is signifying the beginning of this historic next bull cycle that we have been waiting on and waiting on and waiting on. And so this is leading many people to believe that the alts are in for a lot of pain. Experts such as Suzu, the CEO of Three Arrows Capital and creator of a huge leveraged futures exchange derivative, he emphasized that Bitcoin going up quickly could be bearish for the altcoins. He said, quote, BTC going up swiftly is not only not bullish for the alts, but it's bearish. Reasons for this are myriad, but boil down to the fact that money is a coordination game and Bitcoin is the Schelling point. This is independent of how you feel about it. The community is literally irrelevant. So breaking this down a little bit, he's essentially saying that regardless of how you feel, the ability for Bitcoin to go up in value means that more money is flowing into the asset, and that money is a coordination game, and that you should leave your emotions aside here, whether or not you believe in these altcoins, because Bitcoin will suck the air out of the room. And of course, some Bitcoin maximalists or minimalists, as they call themselves, by the name of Dan Held, are saying Bitcoin is sucking the air out of the crypto room. When Bitcoin enters a bull run, that's the asset you want to be holding. And he's showing some negative red numbers here for other coins as measured in BTC value, essentially showing that everything is underperforming Bitcoin right now, at least from top 20 coins. We also have other noteworthy CT people like BitLord saying, many have never experienced parabolic Bitcoin action, and let me tell you now, forget what you think you know, because alts will be smashed. So the question is this accurate? Are alts going to be quote unquote smashed while Bitcoin goes on a run? Now, I do believe that they could be drained. I do believe that they could suffer downside, and they most likely will. But let's get down to the real bare bones here, which is most of you guys are here to buy and hold coins and wait for them to go up. Most of you are not active traders, even though I do believe some of you are active traders and some of you might enjoy trading or do it on a daily basis. I believe the vast majority of people who watch this content are interested in buying coins, holding them, and selling them once they've made some meaningful gains. And so the question is, for a buy and hold while Bitcoin is going on a 2017-like bull run, which coins are your better bets and where should you be allocating your capital? Obviously, this is not financial advice. These are just questions I ask myself. And of course, I'm here to share with you some of the research I did to try to get to the bottom of this. So first, let's look at Bitcoin over the corollary period, right? If we're talking about a 4-year cycle and that this cycle is supposed to be like the last cycle, then essentially we're in 2016, the end of 2016, which was the end of the last halving year. And of course, we know that it took from 2013 to 2017 to overcome that previous all-time high of $1,000. And we knew that it was essentially a little over 3 years from the end of 2013 to the end of 2016, really the beginning of 2017, for Bitcoin to really overcome its all-time high and start entering new price discovery territory. So we've seen the very similar timeline play out, and our last all-time high at the end of 2017, which was the year after the halving, is of course 3 years before. If we are to make a new all-time high in the next few months, that would be the exact same 4-year timeline that we're on, essentially 4 years later doing the exact same thing, which is in 2021 breaking through that previous all-time high of 20,000. So let's look at this corollary period throughout the end of 2016. In the middle of 2016, it made a nice run up, almost, probably 3/4 of its all-time high here at, $750, a little less than 3/4, right? We went up to about 12,500. That's not quite 3/4, 60% plus of our all-time high, whereas this was more like 70%. And then it gets rejected down here back to about 50%, back to about, you can think of this as the 10,000 level. And then we trudge up towards the end of the year, right? We are still at the end of October here. So we're still sitting at about this 60% range. It's almost exactly where we're sitting in correlation to our previous all-time high. We see this huge push here towards the end of 2016, and we almost kiss the old all-time high before getting rejected. And it takes us about 2 more months before Bitcoin builds steam and finally breaks through that all-time high, eventually getting rejected again back down to the $900 level, and then it builds back up. And then by April, we start really seeing Bitcoin make new and higher highs. So from this whole period throughout 2016 all the way up to making new highs, from where we are in October to the middle of the next year when Bitcoin's bull run really starts moving, it's about a 2 to 3x here from October through the middle part of the next year. And so people are saying that during this time, alts were getting crushed. Well, let's look at some of the biggest alts in the entire industry and see how they did, especially the ones that went on to do incredible gains. Let's see how hard they got crushed so we can understand during the corollary period, if we're saying that history is repeating here and the alts are going to behave the same as last time, well, let's look at the king alts, Ethereum and XRP, over the same period. We have Ethereum here during the middle of 2016 going on a nice bull run, coming from 80 cents up to $20. That's over a 20x and an incredible gain, but then it gets pushed all the way back down to $8, really a 10x from its low here at the beginning of the year. But then throughout the beginning of the year, as soon as Bitcoin makes new all-time highs, especially if we were to drag this out a little bit, but we see here over the same time period, Ethereum in 2016 had this crazy bull run, kind of similar to some of this crazy DeFi growth we've seen, where it did over a 20x from its, 80 cent mark here, or, under $1 to over $20, then gets shoved down and kind of settles around this $10 mark. Then when Bitcoin starts moving, Ethereum starts jumping up almost exactly with it, maybe a few days after here. And by the middle of March, Ethereum is over $52. And that's a new all-time high for Ethereum. And it's literally a 5x from where it was sitting, whereas Bitcoin made about a 2 to 3x. And so the question is here, did Ethereum get quote unquote drained by Bitcoin's run? Over the same time, Bitcoin did steady growth from about, $600 in October up to, during the same period at the end of May. We can extend this chart out a little bit. We can see that its local peak at the end of the beginning of June was about 3,000. So this was about a 4.5, a little over 4x growth here. But during the same time period into early June, this isn't even early June, we have Ethereum getting as high as almost $200 from $10. That's a 20x growth, 20x versus 4x. In the end, percentages are all that matter, right? Obviously, Ethereum got rejected after that down to 150, but remember, we started down here at $10. So if we're saying in October, Ethereum's about $10, $11, and it makes its way up to, even this low of 150, right? Which was the real bottom here of this drop. That's still about a 15x compared to Bitcoin's 4.5x. We have XRP here, which was another top altcoin at the time, still is obviously. During October 2016, we have it at about, a little less than a penny here. 0.008 is where it's sitting. While Bitcoin's going on its run, it's pretty solid. It drops down to, 0.006, 0.005 here at the low, right? Which is about, maybe a 30+% drop. That's pretty rough. It goes up to literally at the peak of this first move over a 10x from there, settles down, and then makes another move up up where literally by the time we're in May, where Bitcoin had done about a 4.5x, Ripple jumps up to literally 40 cents. That is pretty much a 100x gain, whereas Bitcoin had done a 4.5x gain. Now, is history going to repeat? I don't know. Is this going to be bearish in the short term for these altcoins? Well, it seems like, yeah, these altcoins could get drained upwards of 30% during this Bitcoin move. But if there is potentially a repeating of the last cycle, well, it seems like altcoins are definitely going to be the beneficiaries of much more significant pumps. And let's take one final example, which is NEO. If we are looking at NEO's price, it's about 15 cents in October. And then by the time we make it to June of the next year, literally NEO shoots up to almost $12, which, you know, the math on that is just crazy. That's almost 100x as well. The examples of altcoins pumping to absolute insanity are many and varied throughout 2017 and into early 2018. So the question to me is not necessarily whether alts are going to get drained temporarily. A lot of the people you're actually hearing this feedback from are trading with leverage, meaning that they're putting in new and different trades each and every day, and guessing the direction has both a benefit and a cost. So if they're wrong, they actually lose a lot of money. Whereas for people who are just buying and holding, well, you don't really lose anything if you don't sell it when these alts get drained slightly. But if Bitcoin is to repeat and the crypto industry is to repeat the bullishness and the trends that it had throughout 2017, anyone with a brain can see that these altcoins pumped far harder and far higher than Bitcoin. Did they get drained temporarily by Bitcoin's bullishness? Sure. But did that mean that they missed out on an absolute historic wealth building moment where people literally had their money 100 or 1000x'd inside their pockets? I believe that the altcoin market was by far the most generous, and historically, it has been the most generous in creating wealth. The altcoins throughout 2017 were way better holds than Bitcoin. Not to say Bitcoin wasn't an amazing hold, not to say that these alts will continue to grow in the future as much as Bitcoin, but to say that the alts will get smashed and to give you the impression that you should just essentially abandon your alts, I think overlooks the critical aspect that while Bitcoin did drain the alts temporarily, they came back with a vengeance and ended up delivering gains that were far superior than Bitcoin. I keep a ton of my coins in Bitcoin. I always have and I always will. But as far as exposure to DeFi and the trending narratives that have really powered this mini bull run throughout 2016, well, those are the coins that went right back up to new all-time highs and did insane gains throughout 2017. If we're looking at the last bull cycle, the Ethereum killers, the banker coins, the types of coins that people thought were really going to come in and disrupt the market. Well, we have a new set of narratives this time. We have oracles, DeFi, Polkadot, interoperability, scalability. These are the types of buzzwords that are really pushing forward the new narratives on this bull cycle. And in my opinion, having some significant exposure to those, even while Bitcoin is quote unquote draining them, is really the place that would set you up for the biggest gain. Because we all know the people who did the very best during 2020 were the ones who were investing while these altcoins were slowly bleeding to death during 2019. So if we are to take a little bit of historical perspective here and ignore a little bit of that rhetoric coming out of the Bitcoin maximalist camp, the reality is that yes, Bitcoin will drain the alts, and I believe also that it will be temporary, because just like the altcoin season we had this year, that happened in 2016, and those alts that completely crashed after the 2016 mini flash in the pan alt season, well, a lot of those went to go on and form newer and higher highs and deliver significantly far greater returns than Bitcoin throughout 2017. So the question to me is not whether these alts will get drained, but when it's all said and done, at the end of the cycle, who will be better, altcoin holders or Bitcoin holders? And I believe everyone's going to win. However, I also believe that having a significant and healthy dose of some of the more trending and disruptive alts, the Ethereums, the Chainlinks, the DeFi majors, the most promising projects on Polkadot, I believe that those coins will stand to reward its holders with what could be once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. And for that reason, I am looking the other way when everyone's telling me to run and scramble into Bitcoin. Then again, I have quite a bit of Bitcoin, so I don't have the FOMO. I don't have the fear that I'm missing out on something. I personally believe in my strategy to go after the good alt even while people are looking away, average down my cost, and get ready for if Bitcoin is able to make new all-time highs, then I'm ready with those amazing altcoins that will be slingshotted 10x and more when Bitcoin does create that new price discovery moment. But I'm curious what you guys think. Am I crazy here for ignoring these experts that are telling telling me that Bitcoin is going to suck all the air out of the room. Of course, if you got value out of this video, smash that like button, not just for me, but for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps the channel, and it's a free and easy way to support. And if you guys are interested in learning about the most undervalued and exciting technologies in the space and my strategy for dealing with this fast-paced market, I encourage you guys to subscribe and put that bell on. And make sure when you click that little bell notification, you select all, so you're made aware each and every time I put out new content. If you want to connect with me personally, feel free to follow me on Twitter @LEOTrades or join my Telegram group, t.me/LEOTradesCrypto. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. As usual, I thank you so much for watching. My name's Leo Trades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.